To say we live in complicated times is a bit of an understatement. It seems like recently in Western or maybe even global culture, every time we make a little progress when it comes to equality or racial relations, we ruin it. So along comes this funny little film called Green Book, which is set in the 1960s, but still shows us that we can overcome prejudice and accept one another. It seems strangely topical, almost a perfect time for a positive message like that. So who's the new cinematic voice in social equality? Peter Farrelly? The filmmaker who, along with his brother, made films like There's Something About Mary and Dumb and Dumber? Yeah, that seems about right for 2018. It's a little ironic that the film actually teaches us that we have to look back in order to look forward. I say that because Farrelly seemingly didn't look back at all. He just kept moving forward. He didn't look back at all the raunchy, over-the-top comedies he's done. He moved on to a drama. And he didn't look back when he basically abandoned his brother Bobby, who has no part in this movie. Not as producer, not as co-writer, not as director. And as a movie fan, I for one could not be happier with those major decisions, because as much as those brothers are responsible for some truly iconic comedies early in their career, recently it seems like they've forgotten what comedy is. No, actually hold up, other me, because I wouldn't actually classify this film as a drama. Now, this may surprise or actually upset some people because the title, Green Book, refers to a travel guide that African American families used in the time of Jim Crow laws. Well, let me interrupt again, other me, I apologize, but the definition of travel guide doesn't exactly do it justice. It was more of a survival guide. For many African American families, the Green Book was of the utmost importance. It holds heavy symbolic meaning, personal meaning, and so I will admit, perhaps they should have reconsidered the title of this film, because while it is featured in the story, really at the heart of things, it's not about the Green Book. It's about two unlikely friends. Green Book follows the story of Viggo Mortensen's Tony Lip, an Italian-American tough guy who's out of work, who has to do odd jobs to make ends meet and support his large Italian-American family. You see, I use the term Italian because Tony is a bit of he's a huge stereotype. He wears a wife beater as an actual shirt. He can fold a pizza in half and shove it down his throat. And he says things like, "Well, you gotta bust my balls, Parmigiana," and "It's a me, I'm gonna win." See, but that's what I expected from a Farrelly. They often walk this fine line between heartfelt character and caricature. Now, while Tony may reinforce several stereotypes, the other half of this friendship shatters them. Mahershala Ali plays Dr. Don Shirley, an African-American who is well-educated, worldly, holds several PhDs, and is a virtuoso classical pianist. He hires Tony to become his valet and unofficial muscle, and the two forge a very unlikely bond. This happens when the two of them go on a driven tour of the Deep South, so it becomes more of a road trip buddy picture, which is the strongest dynamic within the film. Of course it is, it needs to be, or the film would fall flat. They are the original archetypal odd couple. Tony, a brash, bold, streetwise pundit, and Shirley, a fastidious romantic philosopher. You might be saying to yourself, I've seen it all before, but not like this, because both actors really throw themselves into their roles. They are transformed physically, verbally, spiritually. They have such charisma in their own personal respect, and yet together they also have tremendous chemistry. But after the film, I couldn't help but think more and more about Mahershala Ali. Have you ever watched a Nicholson film and then afterwards watched an interview with Nicholson and thought to yourself, yeah, I pretty much just played Jack Nicholson? I've seen tons of Mahershala Ali characters. I've seen him interviewed, I've seen him live, and yet I still don't know who this guy is. He's so transformative in every role he takes, and think about the roles he's had just in the previous 5 years. A dystopian rebel fighter, a White House chief of staff, a comic book villain, and a surprisingly layered drug dealer slash father figure, which of course won him an Academy Award. Whether Ali will be nominated seems pretty likely for a major award, but whether he'll win anything, I'll discuss the odds a little later on. However, don't worry about award season, worry about this film. I was transfixed by another Mahershala Ali performance. He became the character. He's so immersive in his acting. He's so charming. He's so up for the win. Wait a minute, whether he'll win? That's ominous. Purposefully so. That's called good writing. You've seen the trailer, or you know anything about American history, you realize that part of the struggle, not only for Dr. Shirley, but many African Americans during this time, was just simply to be recognized and treated with respect and equality. Shirley's struggle goes beyond that because he doesn't actually feel like he fits in with the African American community. He's had several opportunities in life that many African Americans at the time just simply did not get. And yet, being a black man, he's obviously not accepted by many parts of America during the 1960s either. Sounds like a captivating struggle, doesn't it? Well, it would have been if they gave it more of a chance to develop. That isn't to say there aren't any moments of drama. The subtext and content would die without it and the film would seem one note, but I was always waiting for the other shoe to drop, dramatically speaking. Anytime our duo got into any kind of serious trouble, and there was some serious trouble, they got out of it relatively quickly and easily. There was even a textbook Deus Ex Machina at one point. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. That may actually be what the story was like in real life that inspired this film. It may be that that's simply the tone they wanted to portray. But that's why I consider it more of a buddy comedy than I do a drama about social equality. Regardless of how you may view this film, regardless of what genre they intended it to be, it is still such a joy to watch, and it still teaches the important lessons that I think it was trying to teach. It may poke fun at stereotypes, but it also shatters expectations and celebrates our differences. It was my favorite film of TIFF 2018, and it is, and earn it. Poll question, what's your favorite unlikely movie duo? As always, leave your answers in the comments section below. Also be sure to check out my full written review of Green Book at menversusmovies.com. The link is in the description below. And also be sure to check out the playlist of all of my TIFF 2018 coverage. But until next time, school's out. Hey Real students, thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe to Real School, click that round Real School logo right beside me. Also click that damn notification bell so you're aware of all of Real School's new content. You can follow me on Twitter, and of course, if you get anything out of Real School, you can always give a little back. Just click the link in the description below or the button down there, and you can become part of my Patreon team.